Hey guys, today we're going to solve a word problem involving comparing fractions. So here's our word problem. Maria and Mackenzie are baking cookies for a bake sale. Maria uses 1/3 cup of chocolate chips per batch, while Mackenzie uses 2/5 cups of chocolate chips. Who uses more chocolate chips per batch and by how much? So first thing we're going to do to solve this word problem is find the common denominator between the two fractions 1/3 and 2/5. So if we go down, we have 1/3 and then we also have the 2/5. So in order to find the common denominator between 3 and 5, we picked 15 because we know 3 times 5 equals 15 and then 5 times 3 equals 15. So if you times something on the bottom, you always have to times it on the top as well. So since we did 3 times 5 equals 15, we have to do 1 times 5, which that gives us 5 over 15. Same thing over here. If we times something on the bottom, we have to do the same thing on top. So we have 5 times 3 equals 15 because we're trying to get that common denominator. So then we have 2 times 3 on top. So 2 times 3 equals 6, giving us the 6/15. Next, we're going to do is create a visual graph. What I did was circles. So I drew 2 circles, one for the 5/15 and one for the 6/15 to have a visual aid for us. As you can tell, there's 15 parts in each circle, and then we're just going to shade in how much that numerator is. So we have 5 over 15, so we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts are shaded out of 15. Over here we have 6 over 15, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 parts are shaded out of the 15 parts. So if we take our 6/15 and our 5/15 that we found after finding our common denominator and we subtract them to find who uses more chocolate chips per batch and by how much, we would put 6 over 15 minus 5 over 15 equals 1/15. So therefore, Mackenzie uses more chocolate chips by 1/15. Now we're going to use that same word problem and just use a different visual aid. So we know Maria still has that 1/3 chocolate chips, Mackenzie still has the 2/5 chocolate chips. So here's our visual aids. I did the bar graph this time. So I split Maria's into 3 parts because again, that's her denominator is 3. So we did 3 parts and her numerator is 1, so we only shade 1 part. So we have 1 out of 3 parts. Now Mackenzie has 5 parts, that denominator, but we're only going to shade 2 because that is her numerator. So we shaded 1, 2 out of the 5 parts. Again, after doing our visual aid, we're going to find that common denominator, which we know once we multiply something to the bottom, we have to do to the top. Again, we know the common denominator between 5 and 3 is 15, so we're going to times 3 times 5, and what we have to do to the bottom, we're going to do to the top as well. So 1 times 5 equals 5. So that gets us 5 over 15. Again, over here, we have to make it denominator 15, so we know 5 times 3 equals 15, and we have to times 3 to the top as well. 2 times 3 equals 6, gives us 6 over 15. Okay, so now we're going to subtract them again to see who uses more chocolate chips. We have 6 over 15 minus 5 over 15 equals 1 over 15. So therefore, again, we know Mackenzie uses more chocolate chips by 1/15.